Here is the last part of the mapping of the Gainesville, Georgia step long-distance tandem. We still have the 9s to do, and one of the questions I had to answer for myself right away when I originally did the jamming was what would happen if I go into the Gainesville 536 exchange and dial the 7000 group. I happen to know that there is no 7000 group in the 536 exchange. So that's the first thing I'm going to try. We'll begin with calling Flowery Branch 967, and then I'll whistle it off and explain more.
We're sorry you have reached the number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Now, if you go to Gainesville itself, not this Gainesville, but this one, and you dial 967 for Flowery Branch, when you dial 9, it absorbs
9.
The 6 cuts into the same selector that is used for 536 numbers,
6.
and the 7 goes to Flowery Branch.
7.
So Gainesville has 3 office codes, but not all 1000 groups in those 3 office codes, 532, 534, and 536, are assigned. And the 7000 group of the 536 office is actually where they put the trunks to Flowery Branch. This sort of thing is commonly done in steps. Now the question I want to answer for myself is, if I go into 536 and dial a 7 here, coming in through this tandem, will I get to Flowery Branch?
Recording. In error. Please check the number or try your call again. Press 3X.
So from this angle, that doesn't work. I'm actually a little bit surprised, and the reason is that when I was on the ground in Flowery Branch itself, calling into Gainesville, I was able to dial 536 to get into the Gainesville 536 office code. Then I could dial a 7 to come back to Flowery Branch, the office I was calling from. The trunks between Flowery Branch and Gainesville were N3 family carrier, and so this enabled me to make an intra-office call through 2 N-carrier links. It was a fairly rare occurrence to find in local step networks, but this was one place where I did find it. Here's the 1975 tape of demonstrating this.
First, I'll dial a 967 vacant level by dialing 5675.
The number you have dialed is not in service. Please be sure you have the right number in mind and that you have dialed it correctly. This is a recording. 404B. The number you have dialed is not in service.
And of course, I could also dial 536 7 plus 4 digits to reach the 967 number. I'll do that now. Hello? Hello?
And that was an intra-office call through 2 N-carrier trunks. And by the way, when we dialed the 7 to go into Flowery Branch, we got that same double tick at the end of the digit that we'd heard earlier calling through this tandem. 5, 3, 6, 7. Tick, tick. Okay, back to 1979. So to get into Flowery Branch, I'm actually going to have to dial 967. Now I'm curious as to whether it will go tick, tick coming in this way. When I get in, I'll dial a 1 for the current vacant level recording. Yep, I heard it. Subtle, but it's there.
We're sorry you have reached the number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. We're sorry you have reached the number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. We're sorry.
So we were able to get into 967 Flowery Branch by dialing 967. We couldn't get there by dialing the absorbed digit 3 plus 67. I tried that before. And at this point, we can actually say there is a selector 9. That is the only explanation for how we were able to reach Flowery Branch dialing 967, but we didn't get it dialing an absorbed digit plus 67. So there is a selector 9. On the table for the first selector, under 9, write S9, and then take the next unused table on the page and write S9 at the top. Now we don't know what happened as we were dialing the 6-7, so at this point don't write anything under selector 9, just the name at the top of the table. They've got quite a challenge to do the 9s, especially when you include the codes beginning with 9 that they lost, Tallulah Falls and Buford. Making all that work elegantly is, well, frankly, it's impossible. And so selector 9 is not going to be nice and neat the way selector 7 was. More on that in a moment. First, let's take care of some unfinished business from the last program. We were having trouble getting through to the 887-889 office, the crossbar 5 with pseudo-modern tones incoming. The circuits were busy. Now it's later, so we probably won't have that trouble. I'll call 887-1111, and you'll hear the coming trunk flash when I dial 88.
May I have the name of your calling, please?
Huh, that's got to be AIS. With operator number identification. That's unusual on a number 5 crossbar. Let's dial it again. Well, what do you know? We just reset the coming trunk. Did you notice the double cheep there? And these registers have sort of a hum on them. So now I have to dial only the last 5 digits.
May I have the name of your calling, please?
887-1212.
Thank you.
887-1712 is a working number. Will you dial it again, please? 887-1712 is a working number. Will you dial it again, please? If you need assistance, you may stay on the line and an operator will answer.
That is so loud. And it's unusual for crossbar 5s not to identify to AIS. What that says to me is that Southern Bell is planning to replace this particular crossbar 5 with something more modern very soon. Otherwise, they would have made it talk to AIS in the conventional way. Okay, let's try a ringing number. There's that double cheap again. We've reset the tributary instead of going all the way back to Gainesville. And again, coming is humming. So I could call another 887 or 889 number, but I'm really done here. So let's take a look at the codes that are going to have to go through selector 9. First of all, on the first selector, we have 2, 3, 5, and 6, all absorbing in one form or another. Thus, if there are any office codes beginning with 29, 39, 59, or 69, those would have to be handled through this selector 9 that we haven't mapped yet. But looking at the entire list of codes this tandem handles, there aren't any. And that means the only office codes that have to go through selector 9 are those beginning with 9. And there aren't many of those. Now, since this is 1979, we should include in our consideration the two codes that they have lost, Buford 945 and Tallulah Falls 965. The reason is they're not going to rebuild their whole switching train just because two codes were discontinued. So we can expect a switching train layout that would still have room for the two codes they lost. And if you look at the codes they have to handle on selector 9, it's a very unfortunate collection because you have 945, 947, 965, 967. That's the problem, those four. When you have 945, 947, 965, 967, there's just no elegant way to set those up, and we will find that out. There's also 983, but that code offers no problems at all, since the 8 and the 3 don't appear in any of the other codes that they have to handle. What they'll probably do is put the 983 trunks on the 3 level of selector 9 and have the 8 absorb in the Gainesville tandem. Alright, so let's try jamming selector 9. Let's start with dialing 91.
Sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. 53XS. Sorry. In error, please.
91 and 92 are both vacant. So on selector 9, under the 1 and the 2, write, what are we writing? VL for vacant level, that's what I write. Now let's try 93. No noticeable change in the sound, but we have probably gone into Clermont 983. There's a digit, a second, a third, and one more. Ooh, yuck, it's T-Carrier from Gainesville. When I visited Gainesville in 1973, Clermont was a step CDO. In 1975, I discovered dialing from Flowery Branch that it had been converted to ESS, and it had a recording that said at the end 983J. J? Okay, anything you say, Gainesville guys. Let's try getting a vacant number and see what it says now.
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. This is recording 983S. We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. This is recording 983S. We're sorry.
No flash. I'm going to dial 3 plus a digit with 11 pulses. That was a little more than 11, but it got the same result, a reorder from the Clermont ESS. So here's what we know. On Selector 9, 3 goes to 983 Clermont ESS. The trunks are T-Carrier, by the way. It's the only T-Carrier trunk out from Gainesville that we have caught so far. I haven't heard any others, as far as I know. I know it's T-Carrier because the ring sounds so god-awful. Now on that last call, when I didn't get a flash, I knew that I had either reset Selector 9 or the tributary, Clermont 983. Either way, dialing 3 plus 11 or more pulses was going to make that switch give us a reorder. Okay, so let's go to 9-4. No noticeable change, and chances are we are still in Gainesville. In fact, the 4 has either absorbed on Selector 9, or it's gone to a third selector. In case it has absorbed, let's try dialing a 3, and if it has absorbed, we'll go back into Clermont 983, the ESS, which fortunately is the only office in this area that's going to give us a god-awful sounding ring over T-Carrier. So let's try a 3 and 4 more digits. Yeah, that sounds like Clermont again. So on Selector 9, 4 is probably absorbed once, but let's not write that down yet. What I'll try next is 9-4-4.
X. Sorry, you have reached.
So 9-4-4 gives us a vacant level recording. 9-4-3 gives us Clermont 983. Let me stop the tape and make sure that is 983.
Again, this is recording 983S.
Yes, it is. 943 is the same as dialing 93 or 983. We'll see that later. So on Selector 9, 4 is absorbed once, and it's a vacant level. So in the Selector 9 table, by the 4, write A, comma, VL. The reason it has to absorb once is because of the 947 Batesville office, which is an independent. Now if we dial 97, I'm pretty sure we're going to go out to some independent step out in the boonies. Let's see. I'm going to turn up the volume for this. That is some hellacious carrier noise. Sounds like a long distance. I'll try a 1. It's making a lot of clicks. 1. Yikes! That went off hook, so I had to get out of there fast. This is almost certainly Batesville 947. It hypothetically could be Flowery Branch 967, but a 1 into Flowery Branch I think is going to go to their vacant level recording. And that carrier noise sounds a lot longer than the run from Gainesville to Flowery Branch. So let's dial 97 again, and I'll try to get something to indicate that we have reached an independent step. There you go, St. Thomas type ring. There are a lot of those up there. And the carrier system was introducing a strange rolling modulation. This is obviously very independent, not a Bell system office like Flowery Branch. So on Selector 9, 7 is 947 Batesville. Let's get intercept in Batesville, this time by actually dialing 947. It's a different sounding trunk this time. Let's dial a 0, which hopefully will be vacant.
What number you calling, please?
That again goes to AIS, and there was again that unnecessary ringtone which used to signal the cordboard operator back when she handled intercept. Let's try this one more time and try to get a trunk to Batesville that sounds like what we got the first time. Yeah, that's pretty close. Sounds like a hellacious long distance, and it's clicking.
What number you calling?
You know, when I was getting down toward the end of the mapping process, near the end of the tape, I just kind of stopped talking to the AIS operators. I'm not sure why I didn't want to give them a number that I was calling, but yeah, that might be it. Okay, let's check out 9-5.
Sorry, you have reached a number.
On selector 9, 5 is a vacant level, and this of course is where the Buford 945 trunks used to be. Buford ended up being taken off of Gainesville because it was part of the Atlanta local calling area, and at some point they decided to give them Atlanta operators too. Now we know there is a 967 code in Flowery Branch, and 967 is obviously not the same place as 947. So what does that suggest about what's going to happen when we dial 96? Well, let's dial 96. No noticeable change. We know that if we dial a 7 at this point, we'll go into Flowery Branch audibly. We heard that before. So where are we? Well, we're obviously still in Gainesville, but what has happened? Well, there's really only one answer, and that is we have to have gone to a third selector. Otherwise, dialing a 7 at this point would put us into Batesville 947 when we need to go to 967. So the only answer is we are on a third selector, selector 96, and just to prove that we have left selector 9, here's a 3.
Reach this recording in error. Please check.
So when we dialed 96, the 6 did not absorb on selector 9. If it had, that 3 would have put us into Claremont 983. Instead, we got a vacant level recording. So that proves there's a third selector here. So, on selector 9, 6 goes to selector 96. So write S96 on level 6 of selector 9, and then take the next available table, and at the top write S96. Now on selector 96, 3 is a vacant level, so write VL, and we also know that 7 is 967, Flowery Branch. Let's now make a few calls to Flowery Branch. There's that subtle tick-tick. This time we got an even noisier trunk than before. And that noise of the Gainesville to Flowery Branch trunk goes away for just an instant after each of my digits. Flowery Branch also has a double ring, which we heard earlier in my 1975 tape, calling back into Flowery Branch via the Gainesville local step. So let's finish out the map. There's not much left. Let's first try 9-8. On selector 9, 8 is wired to absorb once. That is so the 983 code will work correctly. And on the level itself, we have
3X. Sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected.
vacant level. All right, 9-9.
Yes, 3X.
Vacant level, 9-0.
Number, I'll try your...
Also vacant. All right, now selector 9-6 is almost certainly going to be a big bunch of vacant levels because it was originally there to sort out 965 Tallulah Falls from 967. And the only reason you needed a separate selector 9-6 was those other codes, 945 and 947. So this is going to be a bunch of nothing. However, let's make sure that there's nothing left on 965. Who knows, we could dial 965 and find ourselves in an abandoned haunted house. Let's try 965.
The door is no longer in service. If you feel...
Okay, nothing special there. So on selector 9-6, 3 and 5 are both vacant. 7 goes to Flowery Branch. Let me stop the tape now and I will try all the other levels and let you know if I found anything. Nope. Selector 9-6 is entirely vacant except for 7 for Flowery Branch. So much for efficiency in the way they handle the 9s. And now, just in case we didn't do this earlier, and I think we didn't, let's dial 0 on the first selector.
3X.
Vacant. At least on the incoming side of this Gainesville step tandem, it's vacant. More about that in a minute. So we've finished the map. This is the layout of an actual bell system step tandem. If you're using the standard group bell form, it's page 1 of 1 page. Now, after finishing the map, I thought about it and decided to call back and just make one more call to a Gainesville step ringing number and then to a busy signal.
We're sorry.
I'm not sure I like the carrier noise we got this time. Okay, now I'll turn down the volume and get it busy. Now, what's it like to call out through the Gainesville step tandem? Well, I do have a few recordings. One of the recordings I really like, although it offered little success, is dialing one first from Such's 747. The trunks are a wonderful sounding N1 carrier. Here's dialing one from a Such's payphone. There are smarts on the outgoing side of step tandems that allow customers to direct dial through them. The outgoing version of the Gainesville step tandem is on the other end here, but there's a register and a sender between us and it. And if we don't dial, the sender dialed something into the tandem to get this reorder. This version of the tandem has outgoing toll trunks. There's a selector 0, which I don't know anything about, but chances are on 01 you have, in 1979, the Atlanta 4E. That would be the main outgoing toll tandem. Why haven't I been dialing anything after the 1? Here's what happens when you do. Yes, Such's had typical independent step toll restriction. Actually, Such's is an XY, as is Dahlonega 864, which I visited later that day. Ah, there's something about a St. Thomas dial tone. Well, from Dahlonega, I discovered something. I could call into Such's by dialing 74 and then dial a 2-digit code and then a 1. And coming in from this angle, Such's would connect me to one of the Gainesville long-distance trunks. I could then dial a long-distance number
Your number, please.
864-2677.
That's right, unrestricted. There was an identifier that failed, but it just sent key pulse +2 plus start. That brings up the operator to get the number, so I have to tell her something. When the trunk goes off hook, it does go back to my phone, so I have to put in a dime in order to talk. But it's worth a dime or two to record this long-distance call through the Gainesville step tandem. So starting again from Dahlonega, I'm dialing 74 to go to Such's, then a 2-digit code there, then 1 and a 10-digit number.
Your number, please.
864.
Thank you.
number you have reached, LY39083, has been changed. The new number is area code 212-877-3552 in New York City. Please make a note of it.
I reset Gainesville. Let's try a 3-digit vacant code. It used to have a local vacant code recording. Oh well. This time I'm calling my home number in the Atlanta Trinity step. It takes a long time to go through, and I'm not sure why.
Number, please.
864277.
Thank you.
This time my flash reset suches, which is good. I can redial. And now I'll make another call on the same dime.
Number, please.
86477.
Thank you.
I reset suches again. Oh boy. Got stuck on a suches reorder there, and I would have had to spend another dime. So never mind, I got 2 successful calls through on that 1 dime, which I only needed to talk to the operator. Now the Dahlonega recording is pretty hummy and low volume, but even so you can tell that the Gainesville Smarts, also known as the CAMA system, CAMA being Centralized Automatic Message Accounting, the CAMA system doesn't make a lot of distinctive noises. It's very quiet. It doesn't let you hear the outpulsing. This is the way it is in the Bell system. I prefer the independent ones because they let you hear more. Now from a Flowery Branch home phone in 1975, some more 1+ dialing, again through this CAMA system, although Flowery Branch does not have automatic number identification. So Gainesville on a Flowery Branch trunk is just going to bring the operator up every time.
Okay, now a toll call. 1 plus 311111. 111.
Your number, please.
My number?
Yes. Are you placing a long-distance call?
Yes, 967.
I'm sorry. All circuits are busy now. Will you try your call again later, please? This is a recording. 53XG. I'm sorry. All circuits are busy now. Will you try your call again later, please? This is a recording. 53XG.
That's pretty pretty good, a step tandem with end recording. Okay, let me try a normal vacant code like 220.
Your number, please.
967.
Thank you. All circuits are busy now. Will you try your call again later, please?
Uh-oh. I'm afraid their L recording is an end recording. How about an 800 vacant code?
Your number, please.
967.
Thank you.
This being 1975, we're getting the Atlanta 4A.
We're sorry, but we have a problem in completing your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again, or ask your operator to help you. This is a recording 4042. We're sorry.
Okay, let me try dialing a TTC code. First, I'm trying a TTC code in a distant area.
Your number, please.
967.
Thank you. I'm sorry. All circuits are busy now.
Alright, now how about how about just dialing 10 something something? I'll try that. 1048.
Your number, please.
96765.
Thank you. Recording 53XG. I'm sorry. All circuits.
Okay, so we can assume that that's not possible. Dialing 1102 now.
Your number, please.
967.
Thank you. Later, please.
Same story. Now I'm going to let it time out.
This is going to time out to the Gainesville reorder. Then when I flash, the trunk goes off hook for some reason. Then when I flash again, it goes on hook, and you'll see how I'm disconnected immediately.
Let me dial an 800 call and let it time out.
Your number, please.
9676821.
Thank you.
Track Reservations, Miss Doobie speaking. May I help you? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I'll record the timeout.
In the CAMA protocol, the CAMA office, Gainesville, is responsible for making sure you can't hold a call up forever. And after 20 seconds, it goes on hook, which causes the originating office to just cut you off. That's the protocol. The trunk goes off hook right before it wants the number, either automatically or via the operator, and then it stays off hook for the rest of the call until such time as the outgoing call goes off hook long enough to charge, about 2 seconds, and then hangs up for 20 seconds. At that point, the CAMA office will go on hook to the originating office, and you'll get an immediate dial tone. Now, the thing I did not record and should have is that I think once you're on a call, you can actually flash through to the outgoing trunk with your hook switch on the Bell System Step CAMA. But I don't have any tapes to prove it. I think you could. So if you called 555-1212 in a distant area code and the operator hung up on you, in many cases just flashing your hook, I think could get it ringing again. You know, once you were up on a call, all the smarts of the CAMA system were gone, except for a little relay, which was going to tell the recording equipment if your call answered and at what time you disconnected, plus a thermal relay to time you out. But other than that, you were pretty much sitting on the step tandem. From these recordings, it's clear that the Gainesville CAMA system could MF out since the calls went through so quickly. It is probably dialing 01 for the Atlanta 4A or 4E, and then MFing the called number. Now, if the customer is calling a long-distance number within the Gainesville sector, the CAMA system is just going to rotary dial the 7-digit number right into the step tandem, and it'll be ringing as soon as the dialing is completed. In addition, Gainesville probably had direct trunks to a few other tandems with which there was a community of interest. Commerce NX1, for example, covers a lot of the bordering territory, so it probably had trunks to Commerce. Cartersville Crossbar 5 tandem on the west side as well. Might have been 02 for Cartersville, 03 for Commerce, we don't know. One complicating factor is that once they put in Big Canoe 579, any office that had direct trunks to Gainesville and wanted to send 579 through them would have to change the code to something else, either 570 or 70. And just to be complete, there was one more office code that the operator didn't tell me about, 723 Demarest, which was not valid in 1979 through Gainesville, but information from the earlier 70s does indicate that Gainesville had 723, and there was a space in the switching train for it. It would have been on Selector 7, Level 3, but not in 1979. Well, that's it for this series, finally finished in 2017. I hope you've enjoyed it.